Hello, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I'll be talking about family reunion visa. And I came to Germany on reunion visa. If you are new to this channel, my name is Ronke Balogun. Please press the subscribe button and also a like button for me. First and foremost, we have two types of visa. We have the Schengen visa and we have the long-term or immigration visa. The Schengen visa is for 90 days. Under long-term visa, we have the family reunion visa, we have study visa, and also work visa. If you have any question, feel free to ask your question in the comment section. I will check and answer as soon as possible. Like I said, the family reunion visa is under the long-term visa. I'll be answering some questions. Who are the people that are eligible to apply for the visa? How do you book an appointment? After booking an appointment, what's the next thing? Your interview. What happens during your interview? Then after the interview as well till you get your visa. Who are the people that are eligible to apply for the reunion visa? Spouse of someone living in Germany or a German citizen, or the children of someone. You don't have to be a German citizen. If you are working or you're a student, your spouse can apply, your children can apply for reunion visa, your parents. In the case of parents, it's only the parent of a German citizen that can apply for the family reunion visa. So what are the requirements of applying for this visa? Before you can apply, your spouse must be working, and not, I don't mean just working, he or she any must be able to cater for the person that is coming from Nigeria. And the number of people coming for the reunion visa will determine the amount required for him or her to be eligible for this visa. The next thing is apartment. These are one of the things that they are going to be checking. Your spouse must have an apartment, a comfortable apartment for you people, for the person that is coming from whichever country to Germany. You can't be living in a student apartment. There's a particular required square meter for each person. So they are going to calculate this square meter per person that is coming. If it's only your spouse that is coming, there will be a particular square meter required for you. If you have children, so they will be calculating this square meter according to the number of people that are applying for the reunion visa. In one of my next video, I'll be discussing the detailed documentation for the reunion visa. German embassy doesn't go through any agent. This is what you can do on your own. The only thing you have to do is to go to website. If you have someone that is putting you through, yeah, someone that has been that has gone through the process before, or someone that knows about it, yeah. But please don't allow any agent to collect your money and probably it's not going to do anything for you. You can go straight to their website yourself, apply for the visa, check for the documents you need. German embassy doesn't go through any agent, so please don't waste your money. From Nigeria, the waiting time is at least 1 year to 1.5 years before you can get an appointment. That means if you book an appointment today we are in February 2024. If you book an appointment today, you'll be getting your appointment time for your interview will be in 2025, probably 1 year to 1.5 years. When I booked my own, it was like almost a year waiting period, and I will advise you, book as early as possible, as early as possible. When I was booking my own appointment, we've already booked the appointment before we got married. We booked our appointment, so we had to wait a year. 1 year after the appointment, that was when we got the interview. But now it is longer. It's 1.5 years. A lot of people are even saying it's more than that sometimes. 1 year to 1.5 years. That's when people get their appointments for interview now. So book as early as possible. Also, fill in the documents carefully. You can't afford to make a mistake in this kind of situation, because it's a long time, like you have to wait before you are able to go for interview. You making a mistake does not make any sense. So after booking the appointment, you are going to receive a confirmation email that you've booked your appointment. Your appointment has been scheduled. Your date will not yet be communicated to you. After finishing your application, the next thing is to start waiting for this 1 year period for you to get a message that okay, this will be your appointment date. And I'll advise you during this period, start learning your German language because A1 certificate is required for your visa. It's one of the documents required. Once you book an appointment, try as much as possible to start learning German. You don't have to write the exam, like you don't need to write the exam, but start learning gradually. And the best thing for you is to get a private teacher. During my home time, I had to get a private teacher before I was able to pass the exam. Try as much as possible to get a private German teacher or someone that has already written a Goethe Institute exam to put you through. That will be better for you, and it will help you to learn better. So the next thing is the document required, and be getting your documents prepared during this period. All your documents, start preparing them for the interview. Some weeks to your interview, I think a month to your interview, they are going to send a message to you that this day, this so date is going to be the day of your interview. So you don't have a lot of time between the time communicated to you and your interview date. That's why you need to be preparing. Once you apply, you have to start preparing for the documents you need. And it's a lot of documents. Sometimes you have to go to court for affidavit. There are some documents required that may not be maybe your secondary school, primary school certificates. So that's why it's better for you to start preparing earlier before your interview date is communicated to you. If you are going for your interview, make sure you go with 2 copies of all the documents required. I will not be going through the details of the document today. That will be for another video. And also, I'll go in person. You cannot send someone to go for the interview for you. If you can't meet the interview for whatever reason, maybe you are sick or something happened, you have to communicate to the embassy, send a message to the embassy directly that this also happened to you. I hope you get another appointment early if you don't have to wait for another year. So on the appointment day, go with 2 copies of each of your documents. You don't have to go with your German certificate. A1 certificate lasts for only 1 year. It lasts for only 1 year. That's why it's not advisable for you to do the German exam immediately you apply for the appointment. You're most likely the A1 certificate is going to expire before you get your visa. It's going to expire most likely. I've seen someone that wrote A1 exam 4 times, not because she didn't pass, but because the processing took a very long time, a very long time. So once it expires, she has to go and write another A1 for another year, write another A1, which is a lot of money. So to save yourself the stress, you can go for the exam after the interview, after your interview date. It is allowed. You don't have to bring the A1 immediately. So, but you can start learning immediately you book your appointment. You can start learning and also preparing for your exam. That will give you a lot of time to prepare for the exam and also know so much. Because I could remember they asked me some questions when I went for my interview in German. My own thing was different because we had some information that I won't be needing A1 exam, that I don't need it because of the place my husband is working, but I ended up needing it at last. So I was like, I don't need A1 certificate. Like we told them this is where my husband is working and all of that. So they said, okay, if you get there, how do you communicate with people? Just say a simple German. Then I didn't know, like I was blank. So I later had to go write the German exam, like prepare for the exam, read. I collected a private tutor for the German exam, for the exam. Then I started learning. But it was after the interview. It was after the interview I did my final exam. So also you have to go with two copies. I've mentioned that two copies of all documents. You don't have to go with your German certificate for the interview. Your visa fee, you have to go. That is very compulsory. In fact, you will not be allowed to enter if you are not with your money. You have to go with your visa fee, which is 75 euro. You convert 75 euro to naira. You go with your verification fee. All this money is collected in cash. You cannot pay with card. You are going to pay in cash. 75 euro, you convert it to naira, and 180,000 verification fee for those people in south of Nigeria, southern state of Nigeria. 180 80,000 and 250,000 for those people in the northern parts of Nigeria. This is the amount you are going to take along. Make sure this money are in 1,000 or 500 naira notes. 1,000 or 500 naira. During your interview, of course, they will ask you some question like the name of the person you are going to meet. Who is the person to you? Since when have you been together? How did you know this person? Well, your relationship with this person. What's the person doing? They will ask about you as well. Your wedding pictures, your wedding certificate. Let me take a look at the documents that are required. Of course, you have to take your application form along, which you are going to download from their website. Application form, your passport, declaration forms like passport photo, two copies of passport photo. What again? Then the data page of your passport. You take your original passport along, and also a photocopy of the data page. Two photocopies. I mean, photocopies of the data page. Uh, Nigerian residence permit. If you are not a citizen of Nigeria, your birth certificate is very important. Your birth certificate, and also the birth certificate of the person you are going to meet. You have to go with the data page. If it's a German national, you have to go with his document as well. Your marriage certificate, your school, primary school, secondary school, university certificate. You have to go with that. Verification documents. You are going to download this in their website. Your wedding photos. It's your children that is applying for reunion visa. You have to go with the picture of you and your children together, like picture of your children as well. You have to go with it. Up to date residence permit of your spouse living in Germany, Medenbescheinigung of your spouse, and also a courier envelope. You can get this courier envelope from DHL. Is this courier envelope that they will use to send your documents back to you. So it is very important you go with a courier envelope. Okay, then I think that's all. And also, the additional document may be required. Then, if they see that your document is not complete or they need more documents to be able to verify something about you, about your spouse, they are going to send you an email to send these documents. Now, after your interview, the processing begins. This takes at least, for me, it took 3 months. For some people, it takes up to a year, 2 years, and so on. I have so many friends who are also in this situation. Most of them are now in Germany, of course, but then their application process took like a year to 3 years before they could get their visa. Especially for students, if your spouse is a student in Germany, they won't tell you directly that you are not eligible. They will ask you to block money, take a lot of time. I could remember one of our friend who was still a student. His husband was here in Germany, was a student, and he wanted to bring his wife over to Germany. They started this process for 3 years. They asked them to go and block money, that since the husband is not working, they need a block account. The money was blocked. One thing to the other, one thing to the other. They made sure this guy finished his study. After he studied, he got a job. That was when they approved the visa. So it can take as long as possible. And it's always more difficult for people that are students to bring someone on family reunion visa. If your husband is already working, or he has a 18B work permit, or is a German citizen, that is a lot more easier for family reunion than someone who is a student trying to bring his or her spouse over to Germany. So after that, the lawyer will come for verification. Please make sure your documents are verifiable. Make sure the documents you put there are verifiable. Because if the lawyer find out that any of these documents are not verifiable, or these documents are fake documents, believe me, you've already lose your visa. So make sure your documents are verifiable as much as possible. So the lawyer will come for the verification. If the lawyer gives a good report, like, okay, this document is correct, like I went to this place and this is their children. I was there when it was given birth. This is the father of the person or the mother. Like, they'll ask people living around you as well. And also, all the documents that are required, if you are able to meet all these documents, you are able to give all your documents, processing of your visa might be shorter and you get your visa easily. So don't forget as well, your A1 certificate is also important. You have to write your exam at Goethe Institute. This is the only institute that is acceptable by the embassy. You have to go and write your A1 certificate, A1 German exam. If you pass the exam, yeah, you send it to the embassy. If you don't pass, that means the processing of your visa will take a longer time. You have to register again, which takes a while. There are numbers of people that they register per exam. You have to wait till you are able to get a space to write the exam. After once you pass the exam, you send the certificate directly to them at you send it to the German embassy, that you now have your A1 certificate, which will also extend the processing of your visa. I know the waiting period is stressful. Until the day you get your visa, that's when you have rest of mind, at least 2 years before you get your visa, which is very, very stressful. If your documents are complete and also you are able to meet all the requirements, your documents will be sent back to you with the courier envelope you took along during the interview. If your visa is approved, fine, congratulations. If your visa is rejected for whatever reason, it will be stated there as well. You can reapply or appeal. And during this waiting process, normally it's written in their website that you don't have to write message to them concerning the processing of your visa. But I could remember we had to write at a point. We were like, what's happening? Is it that these people are not doing anything on our visa? We've been waiting all this while, what's happening? So we had to send them a message. I remember we had to send them an email. You have to sit down and compose a very reasonable email on why you're not receiving any message. If you want, you can also not. So we have to send them message, and our message was replied. They replied our message that, okay, this is what is happening. According to them, you are asked not to, not to, but sometimes you just get impatient. Like, why is my visa taking so long? So my husband had to send a message to them. It was like a lawyer writing a message, stating, quoting laws for them and everything. Why is the message? This is supposed to happen and everything, like a very reasonable message. That's what I mean. And they also sat down to write a reasonable message for us. So they gave us reasons and everything, backed up with their laws and their rules and requirements as well. So after getting the message, of course, we were more at peace. We understood what was happening and we're not kept in the dark anymore. So after my verification, like I said, the processing of my visa took just 3 months for me to get my visa. My documents were sent to me. If you get your visa, please, if there is any mistake, write message immediately to the embassy. If there is any mistake on your documents, please check your visa immediately. Then you are good to travel after then. So that was all I went through. I know this process, saying it is very simple, but going through this process is, it's not a funny. And if you are planning to apply for this visa, please apply as early as possible in order to start the processing of your visa so that you can work to time for you. So that will be all. If you have any question, feel free to ask in the comment section. I'll answer as early as I can. If you want to learn German, feel free to contact me as well. If you have any question concerning the processing of your visa that you need someone to make to clarify for you, you can also ask me as well. Thank you so much for watching today's video. Please don't forget to like the video to continue getting more informative video like this on visa and also learning German. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I look forward to seeing you again. Cheers. Auf Wiedersehen.